flies the ball well. We come downhill and hit somebody, and like I said, he's an amazing athlete. So he's one of the fastest guys on the team. So we'll have to see him flying out and finally getting a chance to get out there on the field, prove himself, and he'll do a good job.
What are you seeing from the offense so far?
We don't see him much in the summer, but obviously, you got guys like Marvin McNutt and Keenan Davis out there going to be a great receiver. And the offensive line is going to be real tough this year. Obviously, after going against our defensive line we've had the last few years every day in practice, they're going to be tough this year. Probably led by Riley Reef and James Clarence and Marcus Lucevic have started most games for him. But other guys like Geddes and Nolan McMillan have played some at guard, and they're going to come in and do a good job. And there's other guys competing for guard position as well. And then, obviously you saw Coker in the bowl game. He does a good job. He can run some guys over. Vandenberg's going to do a good job quarterback for us.
What's going to be like defending against Coker in practice and stuff? I mean, he's a big guy.
Yeah, he's similar to Sean Green and size-wise and running through tackles and stuff. But it's just like any other guy. You got to make sure you wrap him up, because otherwise he's going to get away from you.
Thank you very much.
Yep.
You talk about that comparison to Sean Green. Do you see shades of him, like when you see Coker running against like opposing teams, when you're on the sideline, just being able to observe him?
Oh, it's hard to compare him to somebody like Sean Green. He's just a freshman, but he's going to be a very good back for us, and he's going to get his yardage.
And then one thing I know a lot of people seem to be talking about with you guys is they have concerns up front, because you have Mike and Broderick back, but then you lose guys like Adrian, Christian, Carl. Have you noticed players picking up the slack, if you will, and kind of picking up where they left off? In a sense?
Yeah, definitely. It's hard to replace guys like Adrian and Carl Klug and Christian Ballard, but they were saying that a few years ago when Matt Kroll and Mitch King were graduating. Mm-hmm. And, guys stepped in and did a good job, and we expect the same this year. And, guys like Tom Nardo, who probably nobody's ever heard of, but he'll come in and play some defensive tackle. Then you got Carl Davis will come in there and play it. Steve Bigak will do a good job. And, Coach Ferentz has been saying we'll probably have probably see a lot more different guys going in on defensive line this year than the 5-man rotation we had last year.
What are some of the things that you've noticed, like the observations you've been able to make of the guys that you mentioned there, like Thomas and Steve and Carl and whatnot?
Guys like Tom Nardo came in as a walk-on, and he's kind of had that walk-on mentality. He's out trying to prove himself this whole time here, and he's done a good job this summer getting ready for the year, and he'll be good in the fall. And Steve Bigak obviously is a guy that came in, played linebacker in high school, put on a lot of weight, similar to a lot of guys that play D-line here. So he fits the mold well, and he's hungry out there in the field and will go after the ball. And you got Carl Davis, who's just a monster. He's 315 pounds, so he's one of those guys that'll, he's not the typical Iowa defensive tackle, but he'll do a good job. You like having guys like him that are that size in front of you? It really doesn't matter to me. I just want guys that are hungry to get after the ball, and if they hit those offensive linemen, then that's all you really need.
Comment that Coach Ferentz made yesterday was that he thought that you, prior to your injury, you were playing as well, if not better, than A.J. Eads was at that point in his career.
Yeah.
Just what does that mean when you kind of hear that? And I know obviously you've been compared to him a lot, but just knowing that you're kind of on that same pace, and you see he got drafted, and you see other players that you played alongside that are moving on to the NFL.
It makes me feel good to be compared to him, but at the same time I kind of want to step out from underneath his shadow and be my own player. But at the same time, it's disappointing that I couldn't finish out the year. I only played half the Big Ten games, and that was I really felt like I was starting to feel more comfortable out there in the field after it was my first season start, and I was really starting to feel comfortable, and then I got hurt and played a couple games hurt, and it was unfortunate I couldn't finish the year.
Does the comfort just kind of come with the game experience then?
Yeah, definitely. You get a couple first game jitters, and a little nervous, not sure what it's going to be like out in the field, because I sat behind AJ for basically 3 years the whole time he started. So obviously my first year I was redshirted, but 2 years behind him and just sitting there watching. So it'd been a long time since high school and I played a game, and you know, it's definitely good to get out there in the field and just remember what it feels like.
Have you noticed kind of a separation at that weak side linebacker spot, or do you feel Christian's kind of solidified that, or do you think Anthony still has a...
It's hard. They were I'd say they were neck and neck in spring, and you know, nothing's going to be set in stone until that. You know, even after probably a couple games, you know, coach is a firm believer in giving everybody the best opportunity to play, and you know, who proves himself is going to play, and you know, coach is going to put the best 3 linebackers on the field. So you know, we're excited to have Bruce Davis back as well, because he started the first couple games of the season for us, that middle linebacker, before he got hurt to injury. So you know, you could look to see him in there as well this fall.
How much does that depth help now? Because obviously you guys as a unit dealt with a lot of injuries last season, and now you mentioned Bruce coming back. You're coming back from your injury.
Yeah, it was unfortunate how they all kind of fell into getting time last year, but at the same time it helps us going into this year. And you know, having that game experience, like I said, you know, you know what to expect out there in the field, and you know, so whoever's out there this year, it's going to help them, whether it's on, you know, special teams or being out there at linebacker. So you know, I'm really excited about the opportunity they all have.
Now, did your brother switch positions, or was that a misprint that I know?
No, he did switch positions. Okay. He was playing safety, and then he kind of got hurt during spring ball, so he, you know, kind of didn't get a whole lot of chances to you know, get out there in the field like he would have wanted. But they moved after spring ball. They moved to wide receiver, and you know, he's going to be playing, I think, the position Keenan Davis is playing. So I'm excited for him, because he's 6'3" and he's real fast. So you know, if he does well, I'll have an opportunity to step in there maybe and make some catches. Is
that something that you've noticed, like him willing to want to become an offensive player and make that transition, or
you know,
was it kind of...
He's got all the faith in the world in the coaches, and they wouldn't move him if they didn't think highly enough of him that he'd have a chance to get out there in the field. So you know, he trusted in them, and that's why he made the switch, and you know, he's done well this summer with it.
What's kind of, I guess, going through your mind then when you go up against him in practice? You see him lining up at receiver, then they might ask you to cover him.
Yeah, that's going to be a little bit different. Yeah, I don't know fully what to expect yet, but I'm sure it'll be similar to back in the old days when we were playing in the backyard. So it'll be fun.
Have any stories like that from growing up?
There's too many to even say one, but no, we were always playing in the backyard with the other kids, and it was always me and one of my buddies versus him and one of his buddies, and we just smear them. But no, it was fun. Yeah, beat up on him a little bit.
Thanks a lot for that.